Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey. We are a mostly whole foods, all vegan channel. We do some starch solution, which we're going to talk about today. If you like what you hear, please hit that like button, show us some love, and please think about subscribing and becoming part of the Plant-Based Dads family. I would like to thank our subscribers for being with us for this long, and a special shout out to our Patreon members. Our Patreon members are our financial supporters. It's actually Patreon and PayPal. They help us get the show together and get the message, the plant-based message, out to the public. If you've ever seen the show, or if you're in the Facebook group and you've thought, how can I help? How can I be part of this? You can become a Patreon member or a PayPal supporter. We could absolutely use your support. And as a bonus, you get access to these videos 2 days early. So there'll be a link below for both PayPal and Patreon. We could really use your help. All right, what is the starch solution and why are we doing a challenge? The starch solution by Dr. John McDougall is a way of eating high starch, high plant-based starch, high plant-based carbohydrates, low fat. And by doing that, you lose weight. It's worked for a lot of people. It worked for me. I lost 30 pounds on it. I still have a lot more to go. Quite a few people, famous people, have lost 70 pounds on it, 100 pounds on it. And because you're eating low calorie carbohydrate food, and whole food plant-based foods, you can eat plenty of it and you're not starving. This isn't a diet where you go hungry, where you can't eat stuff. This is a diet where you want to eat until you're satisfied. So, you know, the idea of eating carbohydrates like potatoes just scares people because we've been taught for so long that carbs are bad, but it's simple carbs that are bad, not whole food carbs. Also, it's what you put on top of them. We won't be putting bacon and cheese on them because that's a problem. We'll be choosing our toppings more carefully. The most important part of this is that every month we have a 21-day challenge, and it's a new year, and starting January 2nd, which is today, we're doing our January 21-day challenge. Here's how that works. You'll be eating from the starch solution. I'll go over all that. And you'll be posting your photos in either the Facebook group or in the community tab on YouTube or in Instagram. And you'll use the hashtag PBD5050, PBD5050. That'll kind of link us all together. If someone wants to see what people are eating, they can look at that. And the photos do two different things. One, it keeps you accountable. Hey, look, here's what I had for breakfast, you guys. And if you know you're going to have to post it, you're not going to eat junk. The other thing it does is it posts your photo, and then people who are like, man, I had the same thing for breakfast, oatmeal, all 3 days. Like, I don't know what to eat now. Oh, look, someone made polenta. I love polenta. I'm going to make polenta, right? So it gives people ideas of what they can cook for themselves. So kind of a twofer there with the photos. How does the starch solution plate work? Well, I'm going to put a graphic on the screen. I've actually got it right here. I'm going to read from, but I'm going to put it on the screen right here. You're going to divide your plate into two parts. The plate that's on the screen is a 50-50 plate, but you don't have to divide it down the middle. You could do like a 60-40 where it's 60% starch and 40% non-starch, or 70-30, 70% starch, 30% non-starch, or the other way around. It's up to you. The base of your meal is the starch. That's where the bulk of your calories come from, and that's what fills you up. So on one side of the plate, just look at this 50-50 graphic here. On one side of the plate, you've got, on the right, your starchy vegetables. And these are all whole food plant-based vegetables that you're going to prepare. I like to prepare food on Sunday for the week, so I'm not cooking it all week long. But I'm going to make like legumes, which are beans and peas and all that sort of stuff, and peanuts. Peanuts is not a nut, it's a legume. Did you know that? So you're going to have something on the right side of the plate with legumes or potatoes, sweet potatoes, red potatoes, white potatoes, russets, it doesn't really matter. Or whole grain pasta. Pasta you can absolutely have on the starch solution. Pasta becomes a problem when you start layering cheese sauce on it and all that stuff. If you just have the whole grain during pasta by itself, that's not a problem because that's not too high in calories. It's really going to depend what you put on there. You're going to have like a really low calorie marinara. That's kind of the best option, right? You can also use brown rice. Really on the starch solution, rice is rice and it doesn't matter, but I like brown rice because as far as I know, the fiber is still in it. It hasn't been stripped away like the white rice. But as far as, the plant is concerned, rice is rice. White rice is fine. You can also use quinoa as a base, or corn, or oats, right? If you want to have oats as your base, that's fine also. So on that side of the plate, you're going to have your whole food plant-based starches. Then on the other side of the plate, you're going to fill the rest of that plate up with non-starches. And that's either going to be leafy greens, green veggies, cruciferous vegetables. You've got broccoli, you've got asparagus, Brussels sprouts, anything really green or yellow would work, some summer squash. You know, all of that healthy green stuff that you want to get on there, or yellow stuff, that would be perfect. You're not gonna be able to put butter on it or any of that stuff. You really need to have it in its closest form to how it grows. So you're gonna clean it up and, you know, steam it or whatever. You can put some seasonings on it and toss it on your plate next to your starch. And together, that's gonna give you a whole meal. Now here's how it works, and here's why you don't have to count calories. So let's take, for instance, if you were doing potatoes and broccoli. Even a large baked russet potato is about 300 calories, and you've got that all over one side of your plate, and then you fill up the rest of the plate with broccoli. You throw it on the left, you throw it on top of the potatoes, you got a lot of broccoli, right? Broccoli is very low in calories. A whole plate of broccoli is like 50 calories. So you've got your potato for 300 calories, and then you've got your broccoli for 50 calories, and you've got a meal which would fill you up of 350 calories. If you do that 3 times a day, you're at 1,050 calories. You're at a calorie deficit. You don't want to eat 1,050 calories, that's way too low, but you get the point. So how does this work? How can you lose weight eating a bunch of starches? That's against everything that you've been told. Well, here's how it works. I'm gonna put this chart right here, the calorie density chart, on the screen so you can see it, but I'm gonna read from it right here. On the screen, you can see you've got all of the food broken up into how many calories per pound each one of these foods are. So for instance, at the very top, you've got non-starchy vegetables. That is the lowest food that you can eat as far as calories. It doesn't get any lower than, you know, broccoli and asparagus. Those are really low in calories as they are, right? Sauteed in butter and all that, that changes the calorie count. But just as they are, it doesn't get any lower than that. And if you look down the list all the way to the bottom, the highest calorie food you can digest is any type of oil, including olive oil, including coconut oil, including canola oil. It doesn't matter what type of oil it is, they're all the same calorie counts. Now, is olive oil healthier than vegetable oil? It sure is, right? It doesn't have any saturated fat, but as far as calories, they're all the same calories, which is why we don't use oil in this way of eating. So you want to eat as close to the top as possible. There's a kind of this green-red line that goes kind of, I don't know, a third of the way down. And it talks about, on top is an arrow that says go, eat. On the bottom of it, it says avoid, limit. So when you're making your meal, you want to take the starches, which start at the potato, corn, squash, and work their way down the beans and legumes. And that's one side of your meal. And then you want to put the vegetables on the other side of the meal. So when you're looking at this chart, you want to stick with foods that are above the green-red line there. Anything there would work with this meal plan. So eat above that line and you'll be fine. As you move down, notice 750 calories per pound avocados. Avocados is a whole food plant-based item, right? Like, I love avocados, but avocados are loaded with fat. Again, it's a good fat, right? But if you're trying to lose weight, if you're counting calories, although we don't count calories, but if you're doing this for weight loss, avocados need to be limited. That's not something you want to jump into for every meal. But if you look down to the second of the bottom, nuts, seeds, butters, and tahini, nuts and seeds are whole food plant-based, right? Cashews, who doesn't love cashews, right? Walnuts, almonds, ooh, yes please, right? Those are loaded with fat. Tahini, I love me some tahini, loaded with fat. So stick with the foods above the line, and that's how this program works. So, sounds good, right? Hey, I could eat all those foods, potatoes, corn, vegetables, those are my favorite foods. I can't go wrong on this. So, can you gain weight on this? You absolutely can. That's why you have to know what you're doing. If you fill the plate up with starches and don't use any non-starchy vegetables, you're gonna have a problem. For instance, let's take the potatoes like we did before, right? A potato has 300 calories, a large one, a baked potato, and on the other side, were you to put broccoli for 50 calories, you have a plate of 350 calories. Well, let's say you didn't put broccoli. Let's say you put another potato on the other side. Well, you've got 300 calories, you've got 300 calories, you've got 600 calories, right? Now you've got that 3 times a day, you've got 1,800 calories. Are you burning at least 1,800 calories a day? Because if you're not, then you don't have a calorie deficit. So that's going to be a problem. This whole thing, even though you're not counting calories, This whole thing is based on calorie deficit. There's nothing you can do about that. You have to have a calorie deficit to lose weight. So it's all going to depend on how many calories you burn every day just by, walking and waking up and doing your daily activities. But if you stick above that line and do non-starches and starches on each plate, you're not going to have to worry about it. It's going to take care of itself. All right, here's some tips for losing weight doing the starch solution. First, eat smaller meals throughout the day. It's been shown, and Dr. McDougall says this in his book too, don't eat 3 big meals a day. Just snack as you go throughout the day and set a time window, right? Be done eating by a certain time, but have smaller plates of food every day. It's still doing the half starch, a half non-starch. That's been shown to keep your metabolism increased and to burn food faster. So that's one good tip. Next is you have to limit high-fat foods. Here's the high-fat foods you want to limit. Tofu gets most of its calories from fat. Anything soybean related, in fact. Nuts and seeds, avocados, olives. Olives are high in fat. Any processed food. If it has a label on it as a processed food, then you shouldn't be eating it on this. That includes salad dressings. Salad dressings are high in fat. Even if it says fat-free, then it's got something else in there that's going to cause you to hold weight back. You really want to make your own salad dressings or use vinegar and lemon. Keep food simple as possible. This is a really good tip. The more decorated food is, the more amazing it looks, the more work you put into a recipe, the more you're going to eat of it. So potatoes, broccoli, that kind of thing, I mean, you can't fail with that. All right, so next tip, always start with the non-starch side first and then finish your starches. This way, if you get full before you're usually on the second plate, but if you get full before you finish eating, you've eaten the low-calorie stuff. Another good tip is to sit down and eat. We do that. I don't eat at the island here or anything. I sit down, I set a table, I always have a glass of cold water, and I eat my food with my family. We catch up, we talk about our day, at least for dinner anyway. And that allows me to make sure I chew my food, that I'm not rushing through my food or any of that to get to something else. This is my time to slow down and enjoy the moment. When you're doing that, you give time to your body to digest the food and for your stomach to tell your brain, hey, I'm full, don't eat anymore. Because sometimes that can take up to 20 minutes. And if you're just wolfing food down until you're full, you're gonna be full before your brain realizes you're full and you're gonna eat too much. So sit down and eat your meal with your family, by yourself, whoever's with you, read a newspaper or look on Facebook and watch Plant-Based Dad's videos, whatever. But do that and take in the process and try not to be rushing through it. Another great tip, we talked about it, eat above the green line on that chart. Everything up there, as long as you do 50-50, 40-60, 70-30 plate, whatever, as long as you do one of those starch solution plates, everything up there will keep you on that weight loss track. All right, what are we avoiding on this way of eating? Well, here's what we're not eating at all. We are not eating oils. This is an oil-free lifestyle because it's just way too high in calories. We are not eating any animal products. A starch solution is a way of eating healthy, organic stuff, and animal products is not part of that. We're not eating processed food. So, if you're eating stuff out of a package, that is loaded with stuff that we don't need on this way of living. And no coconut. Coconut, even though it's a plant and it's kind of whole food plant-based, it is loaded with fat and it's saturated fat. So we're staying away from coconut completely. There's no way to lose weight eating a coconut-based diet. Although it did work for Marianne and Ginger, so I don't know. Now, what's the difference between avoiding those and limiting like tofu and soybeans and avocados? Because at the end of the day, you want to get 10% of your calories from fat or less. So for instance, let's say that your calories for the day are 1,500, and we're not counting calories, but in theory, let's say for me, it's about 1,500, right? That means I can't eat more than 10% of that, or 150 calories from fat. And like a whole avocado is like 300 calories. So like I can't eat an avocado. I can eat a half of it, but then that's my fat for the entire day. So I want to be careful. That means I can't have, any nuts or seeds or tofu or anything like that. So we're limiting those where we're avoiding those other foods altogether. So limit the limited foods, right? Just make sure that you're not overdoing it on those. I mean, some people do avoid them, but that's up to you. All right, what happens if I can't do this? Well, give it a shot. If you get in a few days and then you fall and you're eating something you shouldn't, or you went out to dinner with people and you wound up eating something you shouldn't, that's okay. I mean, it happens. Just get up, dust yourself off, move on, and pick it up where you left off. You're not starting over, you're just continuing where you left off. It's not over. It's not all or nothing. Oh man, I couldn't do this Thursday and I already blew it, right? It started on Sunday and it's Thursday and I've already blown it. Why bother? No. You had a successful Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're not throwing that away because, you know, you stopped at Burger King on the way home, right? It's not all over. No. Take control of your life. Take back your meals and start on the next meal and pick it up. And you're not even starting it over. You're just picking up where you left off. If you fail, get back up and keep going. Progress over perfection. No one's perfect at this. No one. You just have to pick yourself up and keep going. And remember, you're not starting over. So many people are like, I'm going to start over. You're not starting over. You're just picking up where you left off and continuing on. That's it. Progress over perfection. All right, so what do I have to do to make sure I'm all in on this? Well, a few things. One, the starch solution meals, right? Just what we talked about. Two, you need to get some movement every day, like 20 to 30 minutes. That could be doing laundry. When I was on Weight Watchers, I would fold my socks on the couch and I'd get a pair and then I'd go to the bedrooms and put the one pair away and I'd come back and fold the next pair and I'd go to the bedrooms and put the next pair away. And I would get, like not leaving my house, I would get 15 to 20,000 steps a day doing that. That's the kind of thing you have to think of. How can you be creative at home if it's winter or whatever, if you don't want to go outside? Or if you do want to go outside, in Phoenix, it's actually really nice out. It's in the 60s and 70s right now. 20 minutes a day would be great. What I do is I just walk around my neighborhood 6 times around the block. Is 1 mile, so I do 2 miles a day, and that kind of just does it for me. And the other thing is, the third thing is you're gonna need to get plenty of water. I don't drink anything other than water. There's nothing in my house except bottled water. When we're outside the house, we're at a restaurant and somebody wants a soda or whatever, that's fine. But I'm not gonna have my house filled with soda. My house is my safe place. So you're gonna need to get water. It just flushes everything through, keeps you hydrated. You can't really do this without having some way to keep yourself flushed. One thing you might not be aware of if you haven't done this before, and I realized this when my mom was here a few years ago, and she was like eating my food. She was like, I'm like pooping a lot. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she goes like, this is my second time today. And I said, well, Mom, that's what happens. Like when you're eating a lot of fiber, which this food is all loaded with fiber, you will be having more frequent bowel movement. I said, is it painful? And she's like, no, but like, is that normal? I'm like, yes, that's normal. What's not normal is not having a bowel movement for 2 days, right? That's not normal. But that's what happens when you don't have fiber, and fiber is only found in plants. One last thing, if you're in the Facebook group, Plant-Based Dad Starch Solution Enthusiasts, this is what it looks like right here. If you want to join, go ahead and go to the group, and it's a public group and you can join. If you're doing that, if you're posting photos in the group, any photos in that group have to be compliant with the starch solution. If you're gonna post photos for this, it has to be starch solution compatible foods always in the group. So just make sure, if you don't do that, I have to take it down and send you a note. And I'm not gonna be mad or anything, but don't be offended if that happens. I'll just be like, it didn't work, I gotta take it down. All right, that's our video for today. The monthly challenge starts today. This is your chance. This is your time to make a change. If you don't change something, nothing changes. Today is either one day or day one. Which one is it for you? Are you in this with me? I'm much stronger when I'm doing it with you. Hit that like button. Show us some love. What's not to like? Hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified every time we have a new video, usually every Tuesday, although this one's on Monday. And please, leave a comment below. Are you in? Are you doing it? Are you with us? We can do this together. Let's make this the most successful year we've ever had. We got this.